Hello and welcome back to Backpacker Diaries. This is Amos with a special edition of the show today. Really excited that we've recently passed the century mark. We've got over 100 subscribers now on the Backpacker Diaries channel. And to celebrate, I'd like to say thanks by sharing this interview I did with a person who has really been more influential in my backpacking career than anyone else. It's my Uncle Gene. He took me out on my first multi-night trip about 3 years ago in Glacier National Park, Montana. I've learned a lot from him, and maybe you can learn a couple things from him too. The following segment also provides a sneak peek into some upcoming episodes from a trip Gene and I took into Glacier National Park, Montana this year in 2017. Stay tuned and enjoy the following interview. It's Amos with Backpacker Diaries, and I'm here in Canmore, Alberta today with a special guest. He's a retired optometrist from Wisconsin. Uncle Gene, welcome to Backpacker Diaries.
Well, thank you very much.
I really wanted to catch up with you after our recent trip and ask you, how did you get started with backpacking?
My very first one followed a day hike at Yosemite with my wife. So we day hiked there, and I looked up at Half Dome and learned how people could actually hike up on Half Dome. I thought, I'd like to come back there someday. And after a couple more years, a roommate of mine from optometry school invited me to go along with him. So we flew to San Francisco, stayed at his buddy's place, borrowed a car, and we hiked up to, what's that level? Isle Royal. What's it called? The Happy Isle?
Happy Isle, yeah, the trailhead there.
And then we had a day hike up to the top of Half Dome, back down again. This is before you needed a permit. Just show up early and go. So that was my first backpacking trip. Successful. Nobody got hurt.
And how many nights were you out for?
It was a long time ago, as I recall. It was 2, but could have been another night up on the floor after we got off the mountain.
So you could maybe give some credit to your optometry friend for getting you started?
Certainly created the opportunity.
Nice.
Right. So it was a reason to buy a pack, and not sure what other gear. Already had a tent.
Well, I'd like to point out that you actually got me started on backpacking about 3 years ago. You got me out and motivated to get up the gear to do this.
Well, I think I was in kind of the right place at the right time. You were ready to go. If I wasn't there, you would have been out backpacking anyway, and we'd have Backpacker Diaries to look at, irregardless. But so I was glad to be there when the opportunity came up. I had a permit. I guess we didn't have an advanced permit, did we? We just showed up early and hiked away at Glacier. We went in and out from public transportation, so that made it convenient.
Yeah, I really like how Amtrak can drop us off there at West Glacier, regardless if you're coming from the west like me or from the east like you. It worked out great with everything. And yeah, that's something I like about Yosemite also, is the fact that you can take public transportation to get all the way up to Yosemite Valley there.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Definitely are 2 of the parks that you can do that with. So the trip that we just did on the Boulder Pass Trail, now that was your 4th trip on that route, is that correct?
Right. From Kintla Lake to Goat Haunt, it was my 4th time. Once, this last time with you, the time before I was by myself, and then the first 2 times with my son.
So what is it about the Boulder Pass route that inspired you to come back for a 2nd, 3rd, and a 4th time?
I think it's no different than for other people who have hiked that. It's that distance between Boulder Pass and Brown Pass that hikes around the cirque of Hole in the Wall. And looking across the valley and up the other side. The first time when my son and I were there was a thunderstorm we could look at that didn't get us wet, but we could see the clouds miles across the valley, lightning striking on the two peaks.
Wow.
Second time we had snow, and third time I was by myself, and that added a little extra dimension to a little concern of would I be okay if something happened, and what would happen to me. And then, of course, this time sharing it with you and seeing your joy. I think you felt joy seeing that.
Absolutely.
It was fun to see you enjoy it, and then I get to kind of rewind and relive the memories of prior trips.
Yeah, I remember you recounting some of those details about walking across snow and doing some glissading.
Thanks for hearing my stories again, and a third and fourth time maybe.
Oh, it's good. No, I enjoy the stories. And
Good. I'll keep them coming.
the nonstop berry buffet was memorable as well as the scenery.
I've not had that before.
No?
I mean, I've had a few berries here and there, but not like this time. So I think with each hike in the same area, it's going to be a little bit different.
Yeah,
With
indeed.
the weather and so on. So fifth time maybe? I don't know.
So you found that the berries were best on this trip versus the others?
Yes. I really don't remember eating berries along the trail before. I remember seeing them at Apgar, the walk between Apgar and West Glacier.
Okay.
Walking through the woods there, but I don't remember them being on the trail.
I see.
Huckleberries, but then I don't really care for those too much. I don't remember the
Yeah.
huckleberries.
I agree. They're not as tasty as the huckleberries.
But I didn't notice them on this trip either until you pointed them out.
Ah, indeed. Yeah.
Another reason to hike with a buddy.
There was a lot of them. Yeah. Very delicious. Finally, what would you say to the hikers out there that haven't backpacked before but are considering getting into it? What would they need to know before going out into the backcountry and giving it a try?
Set a goal, find a place, find somebody to go with, or go by yourself. But I think it's important to have the right gear, read ahead to know what others have done, what others have experienced, sort of know your limits. I test out your gear, walk with your boots, walk with your pack, try to be in condition. I can't think of anything else, just not go off blindly, of course. Be prepared. Like a good Boy Scout.
Like a good Boy Scout, indeed. Well, thanks, Gene, for taking the time to sit down with me today, and hope we get to go out on another trip again sometime.
Well, thanks. I appreciate the efforts that you put into your backpacker diaries. I can't imagine the time that it takes. I've enjoyed watching them, and now I get to be in one. This is great.
It's a good outlet for me, and I enjoy trying to tell a good story. Thanks again for tuning in to Backpacker Diaries. If you enjoy the content that I post here, then please like and share, push that subscriber button, and leave a comment down below. If you have any suggestions, I'm certainly open to that as well. That's all for now. See you next time.